aspect of cinema. We played in a so-called blockbuster, more than one, but I would like to deal with King Kong by Peter Jackson. If I'm correct, you have to work, of course, because of the big Kong with the green screen. How it is to work with a green screen, and how different it is working with a natural setting or a set.
Well, green screen and I mean, technology has advanced so much even beyond then. I mean, to put it into perspective, we shot that film. That was a 9-month movie, and when we had a 3-month or so hiatus in which I went and shot Hollywoodland in the middle. So I worked that entire year, very vastly different character, and came back, finished Kong for several months. But within that year of filming, the technology had already changed. So we did scans, we did full scan, and so they can create certain moments, and they were able to redo this 3-dimensional scanning process, and now it is light years beyond that. You know, especially in a certain type of filmmaking, which is remarkable. This technology affords the filmmaker endless ways of telling a story. There really is nothing. You have the imagination and the resources and the people with the technical ability to help support your vision. There's really nothing you cannot do, which is something pretty hard to grasp. You look at films like Christopher Nolan's work, and they incorporate great dramatic work, and yet expand beyond what's achievable because of technology. And I think that's a perfect balance of the two. And even King Kong, I mean, there was a lot that was rooted on, you know, emotional storytelling, and yet you have this creature that does not exist there, that is so nuanced. And it's not just a feat of technology. It was Andy Serkis who's made a career of playing primates, and has been fortunate to reapply his dedication in studying primates for King Kong into being the lead of Planet of the Apes, and you know, really bringing truths to that, dramatic truths that an actor connects to. And then
Was he more with the capture?
he was Kong. Andy Serkis was Kong. Andy Serkis was also Gollum. But I love as an actor to see that he has managed to play a different character, but as a primate. So he has the foundation that he's learned to understand ape behavior, which is fascinating, and then apply it in several characters in several films, which is wonderful. But the challenge is you do not have always something real in front of you to interact with, and the more something feels real, the easier it is to connect to that, and the more that you have someone to interact with that you can actually listen to and be alone with and block out the rest of the noise, the easier it is to capture that intimacy on film, which is the goal, really. And you're in these vast green sterile rooms in giant warehouse buildings, and you know, I mean, there are moments where you're swimming on a rope in a green room, being suspended, and you're not underwater, and there are 30 people watching you, and you've never swam in the air on a rope before, and it's challenging, especially if you know you're used to a certain type of storytelling. And I remember it being much harder than I thought. It was so hard. It's so hard to be great because you have all these other responsibilities going on that all have to work and they have to work in order for your business to work. And so you are much more, even though it is an essential element of the film, you are much more a cog in a much bigger wheel. And it was fascinating. And you know, there's a whole sequence in that film, if you ever watch it, that we are kind of ensconced upon by insects, crickets and crabs and giant roach-like creatures that devour us. And that's based on the 1930s original King Kong, and which was the impetus to make Peter Jackson want to become a filmmaker. And it's this amazing scene, and part of it was actually cut out from the original because it was too crazy for that time for audiences.
Yeah.
And we made the scene. There's not one thing on us. We're interacting and shooting and seeing and peeling off of us. Nothing. And when you watch it, it's amazing. It's amazing to see that. And there's something really beautiful about that, because you're transported to a time, even if the process is challenging. You look back, and I was there with dinosaurs. I was there communing with things that I could not. And I always look at that movie like that's the one I want my grandchildren to, there are several obviously, but that one I think for a young grandchild, which is looking way far in advance, but to see how cool Grandpa was hanging out with, probably the technology is going to look like a black and white film though, is a problem. They're going to be like, oh, play with the stick figure, dinosaur. But still, even that film, even the 30s Kong with stop motion is so exciting, and exciting for me to watch, and the interaction. So I feel really fortunate that Peter selected me to be a part of that film.
So did you watch the first movie as preparing the role, or Peter Jackson asked you to do that?
No, I'd seen that film many times, and actually what was wonderful, what I love about Peter and Fran and Philippa, Fran Welsh is his wife, and Philippa Boyens is their writing partner, and you know, they wrote Kong, and they wrote, you know, collaborated together all on Lord of the Rings, and they're very creative. What I thought was so amazing to do, and this was, at the time, it was Universal's biggest film. It was their most expensive film. So this was prior to all these massive Marvel films. And it was several $100 million movie, which is an amazing thing. And they created a leading man character that had an intellect and sensitivity, was a writer, and was a creative person. And that's very rare, you know, in mass storytelling. The original, if you see it, the role that my character had evolved from was a ship's first mate. He was not very, not that charming and not that kind to the Fay Ray character, or to women in general, which, you know, and this kind of love affair that ensues with an actress and a playwright, and the nuances of that within the storytelling that do not detract from the epic nature of the storytelling was wonderful. And so I was able to play someone who had the complexity in a big studio movie of both a creative, an intellectual, and someone strong enough physically who can go out and save the woman of his dreams and go into a jungle and have there be some level of truth to that in this fantastical world. And that's really very brave filmmaking, and it took a filmmaker who has a lot of autonomy to be able to have the power to do that in this world.
So before maybe leaving the room for